Okay, we should be live. All right, so what we're going to be working with here is a company called Enjin. They have been around. They've been around for a while. I think 2008 or 2009. They started off as a Minecraft community web company. They made like web pages for guilds to run in Minecraft. And in 2016, 2017, their tech team got together and they made what is called the 1155 standard for Ethereum. I guess we should back up here. Is everybody familiar with blockchain technology and how that works? Somewhat? Okay. No? Sure, not a problem. So, what a blockchain is, you can think of it as a public distributed database. And what this database holds is records of transactions. So, for Bitcoin, the Bitcoin blockchain, what it holds is if I send you a Bitcoin, that gets minted to the blockchain, and then that chain gets encrypted and then added to the next block. And when these blocks get chained together, they're hashed. So somebody can't go in and change a record from the past in order to say, they might say that you have 30 Bitcoin instead of one. You can't just go back in time and change that. So what that means is that once it's on the blockchain, it's permanent. And that's a really powerful thing for keeping track of things like transactions. The things you can do with the blockchain, what most people are familiar with is GitHub. If you ever used GitHub and you've done a commit to a GitHub repo, you'll notice that, I don't know, I could probably pull it up here, maybe. You will notice that commits have a little hash to them. Where's my GitHub? We'll find it. So, you see here in this this commit, what it does is it will hash all this. It hashes the entire repo, and you get this little hash key here, and the GitHub will chain all these repo changes as well. So you can see here is like the full hash. And you know for certain that this is a legit change and none of the other files have changed in the repo.
Is that a scripting language?
That was, I don't know what that was. I think that was just the README file that was changed. So here, the way NFTs have worked in the past, NFT stands for non-fungible token. And with Ethereum, it's a separate blockchain from Bitcoin. So Ethereum, the way they have what's called a virtual machine that is also distributed. So it's more than just a database. It also has its own scripting language that you can program for and run parallel to the blockchain. So what people ended up doing is instead of just having just the transactions going back and forth, you have what's called a smart contract. And a smart contract is just a script or a program that for Ethereum runs on their Ethereum virtual machine. It doesn't really matter exactly how all that works. Just know that in order to do work to run a process on it, that it will cost you a certain amount of Ethereum to actually just run the program. This is where like your gas fees and stuff actually comes from. The standard that first kind of kicked off NFTs was it's called the ERC 720 was the one that CryptoKitties and CryptoPunks and most of your old school NFTs kind of use it. And that is a single contract on the blockchain that has that single item on it. What you normally will see as like the currencies that you are like trading back and forth, like the actual Bitcoin, actual Ethereum, those are ERC20 contracts, and those are what they call fungible. So one Bitcoin is just the same as any other Bitcoin. It doesn't matter. You can also subdivide them. I think it's to like 18 decimal places or something stupid like that. What these guys at Enjin did, because Ethereum is kind of slow and also very expensive, if everyone is using it, then it jacks up the gas prices in order to alleviate some of that processing strength. And what that does is that will drive up the price to like $200 for a transaction. Yeah, what's up? That is the fee that the blockchain will charge you to actually do a transaction. So for a single person-to-person transaction, that's like, that's one transaction. That is a set amount of gas. And depending on the actual congestion of the network, that will go up and down. That also is dependent on your various blockchains, all have different ways of dealing with that congestion. Some don't have transaction fees at all. Some will pay it for you. So what Enjin did back in, I think, 2018, they made a separate standard called the 1155 standard. And this is one contract that's on the network that will handle any NFT or fungible token that you throw at it. And you can do like batch transactions. So I can send everybody in this room, 20 tokens on a single transaction. Where with the older standards, that wasn't possible. That would have been, 10 or 15 different transactions. And that is not scalable at all. Exactly. So the way they've done it in the past, they've transitioned over away from Ethereum right now. That's something they just went live on the Polkadot network. It's a newer blockchain that doesn't do mining. So it's a lot better for the environment, and it's also a lot quicker as well because you don't have people like competing for these crazy mining problems that you solve. So I guess I can just show this. I don't know if yeah. It's not completely eliminated, but the way Enjin is doing it, they are implementing fuel tanks on their blockchain. So developers and people running platforms can preload these tanks with their token EFI that will cover the transaction fees for the users. And that's something that's they haven't implemented it just yet, but they are working on it. But that's really exciting because you don't have to worry about having your users, have to have a wallet in crypto and all this junk that they just want to play your game.
So just out of curiosity, for a transaction like this, sell an NFT for $250, and this is somebody actually buys it. Could that cost you $200 to sell it?
Depending on if you do it on like OpenSea on Ethereum, it very well could. Because the transaction fees are stupid and you're dealing with an exchange, so that goes from me to that exchange, from that exchange to you, and then you send your coin to me to buy it. So it's like it adds up, and that's why you get those crazy gas fees.
So if you sell an NFT for $50, you could be ending up losing money.
Yep. And that's a bad thing
That's
because
you don't know what you're doing. No, you're cool. I'm in for sale.
exactly.
So here's your bill.
Yeah, and that's not scalable if you're just doing the MMO and you want your common sword that everyone's going to get a billion of. That adds up, and no one can pay for that. So let me see if this will work. Oh God. Maybe. Oop. Okay. That'll work. So. This is the Enjin wallet. This is what you use to basically interface with the Enjin ecosystem. So the easy way to do this, if that QR code, if I haven't gotten it yet, I can scan it. Maybe. That is not going to work. No. Actually, hang on. I can. I'm smart. So, with this QR code, I can claim this NFT. And boop, boop, boop. So the NFT here has a name, a picture, a description, and there's some other metadata here as well that we'll actually go over. Every transaction has to be approved by the user. Well, I guess when you send it. Confirm. Oh no. I've gotten this one already. Anyway, so you can set limits on the NFT, so you can actually throw up a QR code on the internet and not go broke.
When you say claim the asset, you mean buy that NFT? Is that what you mean?
They give it away.
Oh, they give it away.
Yeah.
And it says you've reached the maximum number, so.
I've already claimed it.
Oh, you claimed it. Oh, okay.
So you can only claim for this particular one. You only claim one per wallet. Could probably put it on the other wallet, but anyways.
But it's like buying money, except that you don't have to buy it, you're just giving it away, so you claim it.
Right. this is part of one of their services. It's called Beam, and it will create a QR code that you can throw up on websites or emails or whatever to get people like into your game, into your system. Actually, I could show. No. So here is a couple of linked projects that I have on this wallet. And this is how you will, if you do a game on Enjin, what your users will have to do for now is they'll need to link their project, link your project with their wallet. So basically, it's either a QR code or like a random 5-digit number that you will link to either a QR code or you can just enter the code in manually. I'll show you the link code stuff in a second. But once you link your project to it, now you can go in and I guess I can't actually see the assets from there. But from here, you'll see like the different projects. Like this is the guy on the Discord channel. He gave me 2 proof books. There's different networks that they have. There's the Enjin mainnet, which is on Ethereum. There is the Kovan test network, which is Ethereum's test network. And there is a JumpNet network, which is a private network that Enjin is running kind of in parallel with Enjin. With this JumpNet, they take care of all of the transaction fees for you. So you can do all of your trading and whatnot here and don't have to worry about your transaction fees. JumpNet is also compatible with OpenSea, so you can take your JumpNet items and you could put them up on OpenSea if you want. Potentially, yeah. With JumpNet and OpenSea, I think you still have to pay that transaction fee because OpenSea is on the main Ethereum network. So, I guess you're paying half the fee or whatever. Gas would be less. If you keep everything on JumpNet, gas is not a problem. Okay. Another important thing about Enjin here is all of their NFTs, all their tokens are backed by the Enjin coin. So you'll see here this Valentine one. You see the reserve value there. It's 0.0005 JEng. That's their JumpNet Enjin coin. I can melt this, and I can just grab that JEng from this token. What that means is that every token has real world, I guess, quote unquote, real world value. Even the most common one that they've been giving away everywhere. This is one of their New Year's ones. This one is 0.002. And you see that number by the name. There's 13,000 of these, at least. Way more than that. But I can melt this and then I can get that JEng back. So if you're playing a game and that game goes under for whatever reason, If you just want the Enj back or whatever, you can just melt it and you don't lose anything. So melting is the opposite of minting. So if you mint something, this is specific to Enjin. When you mint something, you put it out on the blockchain. If you melt it, you're taking it back off the blockchain, but you are getting this reserve back for your troubles.
So how much is like 0.002
Enj right now is, I guess we can see, we can just look. That's fine. Doop, 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 doop. Enj right now is $1.50. Eh.
Ooh, you're rich. Someone got Bitcoin.
Yep. It is. So if you have a bunch of Enj and you want to move it over to JEnj, that's a transaction. So something to keep in mind. Once you get it to JEnj, then you're free to do whatever you want with it. But that first transaction and getting it back out to Enjin is also a transaction. It was like all of them. I mean, most of them start around 0. It's like 3 cents, I think, is.
You buy it 3 cents and you held it all the time. Hey, you're right.
Yeah, I bought like $50 of it, 2 years ago, whatever, and I think I sold a bunch of it last year, but yeah, I mean, and that's also a thing to keep in mind when we'll go into actually minting something in a second, but when you are creating your NFT, you give it a minimum reserve value. That's what is in each token here. So something to keep in mind is that like this Age of Rust token has 10 Enj. This was when did I get this? Yeah, 2 years ago, 2020. I don't know when what the actual price was. Hey, it does have the. You can see here the transaction cost of that was 60 cents 2 years ago. I don't think it has. I don't know what it was actually based on 2 years ago, but 10 Enj is a lot. 2 years ago, it wasn't quite this much, but that's what, $150 or whatever, or not that. But that is something to keep in mind, though, because a little bit of Enj now might be worth a lot later. Some of them are. This Age of Rust, this is a game that this one unlocks a mission. Most of these are just collectibles that different websites were giving away for whatnot. I think this one is also an actual game as well. I'll show you the actual marketplace as well. You can do all that in here.
So that's just for listable.
Yeah, basically. They're actually moving away from JumpNet because they've just launched their Infinity platform on Polkadot. So everything will be moving there eventually. Polkadot is a separate blockchain from the co-founders of Ethereum. And the way they do it is they want to be like the internet of blockchains. So they are big on interchain operability. And that's something that Enjin is wants to be a part of as well. So we can Enjin. To an extent, yes. The way Enjin does it is through metadata. So each token will have like a JSON file attached to it, and that has, it has its name, its image, URL. It'll have the description, and it also can have other properties as well. But there's no standard. So I can have a level 2 sword that does 8 damage, and what do you do with that? So Enjin X is it's their blockchain explorer / marketplace. Here's where you can find if you want to buy an NFT for whatever game you're playing. It's all listed here on Enjin X through the different networks here. You can choose your mainnet, your Kovan testnet, or JumpNet. We can look at JumpNet. One of their big gets early on was they're working with Microsoft. And what they're doing is they've made these badges that you can get from attending Azure dev meetup things. So if you go online to a convention or in real life, I guess, they'll have these QR codes that you can scan and get these badges. And apparently people are really hip to collect these badges, badger badges. So yeah, for each one is for like a different event. They're badgers.
Y'all remind me, man, Steam start having NFTs. The little cards you get from playing Steam games.
Yep. Yeah, they very well could. They're not, but they could.
At least they got some.
No. But they're not going to have a choice after a while. So. All right. Let's go to the actual platform here. Yes. There's a new site that they are working on that's supposed to be launching in the next quarter, I guess. They have NFT.io. And this is going to be their Polkadot marketplace, basically. Yeah, it's not out just yet, but this will be kind of replacing Enjin X. So let's see. It's an Ethereum. It's a level one blockchain. You'll see that a lot. You'll see level one blockchain. You'll see level two blockchains. What that means is the level one blockchains actually hold the actual database for that whole network. Layer twos are built on top of that, and that's kind of what they did with JumpNet. And so most of the time those are more privately run networks. They'll have a different consensus model and whatnot for it, but that's how you get around the level ones. Usually they're kind of slow. Bitcoin, I think, is hard coded to be a block every 7 minutes, I think. And I think Ethereum is like 7 seconds per block. And each block has so many transactions in it. So that's why gas prices go up, because supply and demand and all that. Okay, so let's go back. That's fine. So what we'll do here is, hold on. Okay, so I guess I can just log out. Well, anyways, when you go to cloud.enjin.io or kovan.cloud or jumpnet.cloud, you will make an account. And when you make that account, you can create different projects for it. And when you make a project, you'll need to link a wallet to it. This linked wallet will be where all of your initial mints will go to. So once you create a set of tokens that you want to give out or whatever, this will be on this particular wallet. This wallet here is actually running on my computer at home, but what that means is for every transaction that will happen on this account will need to be approved by this wallet. So they have they call it a wallet daemon. That's just a command line program that will run wherever you can put it on, Amazon or a Raspberry Pi or whatever. But it will auto approve every transaction for this project. You will need something like that if you have any kind of user base at all, because you don't want to be manually approving these things, because that's crazy. For Kovan, you will need to have a certain amount of K-Eng and a certain amount of K-ETH to pay for transactions here. This it should be getting phased out here soon. Now that they're kind of not on Ethereum for a platform, but for now, if you want to go with the Kovan test network, so you're not dealing with like real money, this is fake money. There are different faucets that you can get K-ETH from. I think it's just kovan.faucet.something. And they'll just give you a couple K-Eng, and that's enough for anything you want to do. For K-Eng, you actually have to message Enjin themselves for right now. They're working on a better process for that. But for that, you could just go to enjin.io/support, I think. Yeah. Yeah, give them your email address, whatever, put in your wallet address, and they'll just send you some. You don't have to worry about keeping your wallet address a secret. This is your public address. You think of that as your email address on the network. What you do want to keep secret is your project ID is fine, but your app secret. This is the password to your project. If somebody gets your project ID and your app secret, they can do whatever the heck they want on your project. Yeah. Yeah, it's similar to that. Don't ever give out your seed phrase for your wallet under any circumstances. And you want to keep that backed up. Print it out on a piece of paper, put it in a lockbox. If you lose that, you lose your wallet. When you hear about people digging through the landfill trying to find their hard drive with 500 Bitcoin on it, they didn't back up their seed phrase. I don't think they ever found that that hard drive either.
I beat it, like, yeah. Man, I would go through each.
I guess you give it up and we start peeling your skin off. Okay.
All right, so the way you actually interface with the platform is through GraphQL. I don't know if we have many web developers here, but GraphQL, I believe, was created by Facebook in order to be an API to the social network. It's similar to a REST API in that it's connectionless. So all you do is you send a request to it and you'll get a response back. This is using their version 2 of their API, which just got released earlier this year. So if you want to do this yourself, you just need to make sure that you enable the V2 GraphQL schema. We'll go over that in a second. So for our assets, I've made a bunch, but we can go through making some here. This is kind of the graphical manual way of creating an NFT. You can do all of this through code, through GraphQL as well. And if you have a big project that you're porting over, or you have like a already filled out database, you'll want to do it through code. This would get tedious. So let's create an asset. So there's a couple of things to actually go over here. We have our name that we'll just call, let's see, I have a sword with a shield. And it'll just be a common shield. Yeah. We can make it a fungible asset or a non-fungible asset right here. Some of these are immutable that you can't change after you actually mint it. Some of these you can. And it's in the documentation here, which ones are which. In, let's see, its properties.
And you had a whole collection of these, and you wanted to use them as tickets to some event you resell the NFT later on.
In theory.
With the event
Yep.
asset.
Yeah, so like we said before, fungible tokens are basically like currency. So if you wanted to make gold or silver or bronze or something for an in-game currency, you would make it a fungible token. Otherwise, for an actual item, you actually could do it as a fungible token. It'd be kind of weird, but for a common shield, you can. So the supply model and the maximum total supply. This can be, this actually can be changed, actually, because this is, well, I guess it depends on your actual supply model. So we can say 500. So we have these different models here. So the fixed model is what is kind of what you would think, right? You have a total supply. There's only going to be up to 500 at any given time. If somebody melts this shield for whatever reason, you can mint back up to 500. For settable, we can actually change the total supply for whatever reason. If you just want to drop this down to 50 or 1,000 or whatever, you can change that at any time. You can have it infinite, so it doesn't matter what the total supply is, actually, because it won't actually let you. It'll be infinite. So you would do this for something like maybe a fungible token if you wanted to, you don't care how many are out there. The collapsing is once it's melted, it cannot be reminted. So if somebody were to change or melt one of these 500, there'll never be 500 more again. And then there was a couple other annual value and annual percentage. That is, I believe this is, you can mint a certain amount each year. And then percentage is that percentage. So you can have like 10% that you can mint more of every year, so you can deal with inflation and whatnot. You can set up like notifications for that thing, but generally, you really wouldn't know. It all goes through your wallet, so you could check for there'll be melt events that happen, and you'll be able to see like that. The value here, this is the amount per token that you will need to infuse your items with. So with a 500 total supply, I have to have a minimum of 004 Enjin here. So I can put more, but it has to be at least this amount. And there's a formula here to actually calculate what the actual minimum is. So if I do 5,000, it is a little bit less. Actually, I think it maxes out at a certain amount.
2001.
get is like 0.00. Whatever. And for transferable, this is how it's tradable. So you can make it bound to an account. So if you don't want someone to be able to sell their shield, like if you have this to be a character, right? If we just make this to be a warrior, and this is going to be their main character, you can, you actually would set that to like 1. There would be, I don't know what the actual, oh, you know, I think just because this is K-Enj, it doesn't actually, that's funny. So yeah, this doesn't actually calculate that because it doesn't matter. So it can be always transferable, temporarily transferable, or bound. And there are ways to get around bound to address. You can whitelist certain accounts or certain addresses to be able to transfer it to. So if somebody does actually lose their wallet or whatever, if they lose their wallet, they wouldn't be able to transfer it anyways. But you can whitelist it. So the percent returned on melt. So you don't have to get all of your Enj back when you melt something. This part here goes back to the developer. So if we just make this 50, I think that'll work. 0.5.
So you get a percentage back, right?
Yeah, this is the percentage of the creator would get back. The user will get the other half. I think the max is 50%. Or you can set it to 0 and the user will get 100%. So this way you're not completely boned if everyone mints all your stuff. So you can also have a transaction fee for your item as well. This will come back to you as well when this gets transferred. So if you want to set up like a royalty here, you would say per transfer, every time this warrior gets transferred, you'll get back whatever an Enj. So this is on top of whatever transfer fees the actual network is charging. This will just go back to you or whoever creates this token.
If someone wants to purchase it, they'll show their total price and the initial price.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll show the initial price plus the transfer fee. Depending on this type here. Because you can, for fungible tokens, there's a few more transfer types. So you can do a cut of the actual token. So if someone is trading, 500 gold coins, you can take a cut of that, or you can add extra on top of it, like a tax. Or you can still do it per item or per transfer. So if it's a per transfer, then if you are sending a whole bunch of stuff to somebody, it's still just one fee. Or if you do it per item, then each item will have its own fee attached to it. So let's There. Then we'll make this a whatever, non-fungible. It's fine. Okay. No, must be wrong. Whatever. So the starting supply, this is the amount that you're actually pre-minting. You have to mint at least one of these tokens before when you create it. So even if you have, whatever, an infinite amount, and you don't care, the starting supply is that's going to be what charges you when you actually create it. So if I want to do like, 1,000 of these or 10,000 of these, that would be 45 inch straight off the bat. What is it then? So I'll create it. It does calculate. So it calculates this per inch here based off of the starting value. So the more you actually mint, the less you actually have to put in per item. So what is it?
Now, is that restricted to how much KN you have in your wallet?
No. Actually, yes, because I would not be able to mint more than I actually have. It won't let me. So we'll do this.
So actually, the minting cost is the same as the KN per value per asset. Is
Yep.
that right?
Yep.
So basically, if you sell them all, you'll break even minus the gas cost or other transaction fees or whatever.
Well, yeah, but this isn't what you're actually charging to buy it. So this is just the reserve value for it. Yeah, so you could put this on the marketplace and charge 50 inch for it or whatever. And actually, I could show you some of these.
Oh, the reserve value is in case someone melts it. Or
Right. So here we can look. That's when you mint it, or when you melt it, that's the amount you'll get. So for the marketplace, once it loads, load.
So these are things you've actually created to sell for various games.
Yeah. Come on. Whatever. All right. Back to. There we go. Lost Relics is a game I've been playing. And we can see their assets here. Here, asset. Oh, marketplace. Well, okay. We'll come back to that.
Those are number of items for sale for that in total.
This is total, yeah, on JumpNet, anyways. All right, so we'll create this loop. And approved, loop, loop, loop. So here, if you ever want to just look at your transactions that have happened, this is the last 6 or 7 of them. So we made this common shield, but we don't have any data for it. So here we just add a little description. We haven't actually minted it yet. We've just created the template for it. So we just say this is a common item. Yeah. Right. Crud. So we also need to give it a picture of something. We'll do Global Game Jam picture there. The wallet actually supports GIFs and MP4s as well. So you can, I think I can show you one here. All right, we'll save it. There we go. That also needs to get approved, and it did. Use the set URL command. Bam. And it updated. In the advanced editor, it's not all that advanced, but you can change its name. The metadata URL is here. So if you are hosting it yourself, which you will most likely want to do at some point, this just needs to be a publicly available file. So this can be on, on Amazon, AWS, or Azure, or GitHub, or wherever. As long as this can be accessed from the internet, you can put in your JSON file there. There's a little guide here. This is the actual 1155 spec for their JSON. We can, I don't know if we'll have time to actually look at someone's actual metadata, but what you'll have for an item is typically something like this. You'll have a name, description, the image URL. You can have properties, which is just properties for, say, your game, which would be like, a level, a class, a whatever, damage, would all be here in the metadata. Now, this stuff here is not stored on the blockchain itself, so it is kind of side storage. And I don't think we can actually see it yet. So we just made the template for it. We actually have minted 10 of these in Damon. Do I have it? Something like that, yeah. What? Nope, I don't have it on here. So what I can do is maybe we can mint it. We can mint one. And when you're minting it manually, you can mint one or more. And you also need to give it a recipient address. I don't know if this will work. Feel free to send me money if you want. Okay. And hey, that did work. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Mint. Pending approval. And that should have worked. Yay, kind of.
So the question is this, since you minted and gave it to yourself, if you want to transfer to, if I want to buy it now, transfer to me, do I have to pay the 1 inch plus whatever costs you're asking for to buy it?
Yes, I could also just send it to you. Once it updates. It might take it a while to update, but you can, once it's in. So yeah, the silver. I can just send it to another wallet. I can list it for sale on the marketplace, or I can migrate it. I can change. I can move it to. I can't do that yet. Not from the wallet.
Yeah, so if you list it on the marketplace, but then the buyer have to pay the $1 transfer fee as well, like 1 Enjin transfer fee as well as whatever it's listed for.
Yep. But yeah, I'm not going to do that because that's. Oops. Okay. Okay, so before we run out of time, we are going to look at the actual GraphQL here. And a little bit of Unity, because I got it running in Unity. Oops. That's not what I wanted. Here we go. So this is the GraphQL playground. New tab. Nope. So if you've ever used a web dev tool like Postman, this is how you can create different requests and whatnot for to interface with the actual Enjin platform. Here. So V2 has a couple of different schemas here, which we don't have time to go too deep into, but correct. Where's the what's all off of the screen? Here we go. So these are the different queries, and they're divided into queries and mutations. So queries are read-only functions. These functions are not going to cost you anything. Mutations will cost you some gas fees to do, because this is actually doing work on the blockchain itself. So for our queries, we have to authenticate with the project with our secret key and our project ID to get an access token. The access token that we get here is good for 24 hours. So at that point, you'll just have to re-authenticate the project again, so you don't lose your authentication. Our balances you can get from other players. Here we go. So the way GraphQL works is you have the request here in top. That's what you pass in for the query. So this would be a balance filter. which is a string for your asset ID, your asset ID index. So for a non-fungible token, they all have an ID and an index, so you know which one it is. For that shield we just had, the index was number 1. That's the number that you see at the top of it. Yeah, here. Hey, the name updated. Wait, so this is ID number 1. There's advanced as well. This is all of our data. Our circulating supply, you can tell how many there are, if that's important to people, and we have a melt fee of 1%, and a token index. So if I were to run this on my player, it would see that I had, we'll show it to you in a second, that I have this shield and the index was 1. So the plus side of GraphQL here is that you can customize your query to get back only what you need or everything that you need. I don't have any set up. Okay, I think we can still do this. So we can this here. We can write our query. We'll do it live. So we got a query bracket. Then we will get player. We'll get a player. Our player will have an ID, which I believe is just its name here. Bless you. And me. Okay. And then here in these brackets is what we will return. So we can return, what all can we return? Bless you. We can return our wallet, and our wallet has a list of, we can get our Enjin balance, we can get our ETH balance, we can get our balances, which is all of our tokens that we have in here. So in our balances, we'll have our token ID. You can get its index, and you can get the value. That's the number of tokens that you actually have. That's generally all you would need for a person's wallet. You can see here what all gets returned for, say, a player. You can get multiple players as well. So we get our ID, our wallet. Our wallet here contains our ETH address. Our balances contains our indexes, assets, and also wallets as well. It can get recursive here. The schema here, if you just want to look through it here, this is just all of your structures that the different, it's a lot to scroll through, but the different queries can take some of these different structs here, just so you know. So here, this should work. You'll need to make sure that your HTTP headers here, this is automatically populated when you get to it from the assets page. It will automatically populate this for you, but this is your access token. If you want to do query variables, So like I typed in just the string of my username. I could type in an actual variable here in like JSON format. I think I could just go. Let's do like username. That's not the way to do it. Anyways, this is where you would type in your query variables. But we don't need to do that. You type it in directly.
Where would you actually do the visual representation of the, for the shield that you just made?
Yeah.
Where would you go to actually have the visual representation of the?
Like in the game, that is what you would do in Unity. Yeah, and that's the hard part about getting these things interoperable with different games and different worlds, different metaverses. Is this is all you actually have to work with here. You have this JSON file. You have its index, its ID. You can grab its metadata as well, which I guess I could have done here. Get the asset, right? Yeah, the asset, which also has the heck is in the asset. So the wallet, the asset. Oh, it's in the config data. So in your asset, you have state data and config data. The state data, I think, is the immutable data here, which is whether it's non-fungible, it's token type, it's circulating supply. This stuff doesn't change. The config data actually can change. So this is your fee ratio, your melt value, and your metadata URI. Here, we can go back to here. So our asset will have the config data, and our config data would have the metadata URI. Now, so now I have my ID, my index, how many I have, and I have the metadata URI. So here is where this is stored. This is stored by Enjin. And so here is where it is. I would pull this down in Enjin. You'll see in Unity. You'll see that in a second. And then, actually, we can actually look at it here. Just pull it up. Kind of ugly, but this is the JSON file. So we have its name, we have its image, and we have its description. And for this item, that's all I have. And that's all I need. So it's 8 o'clock. Okay. That would totally be in here in this metadata. That's where you would put it.
What, like image or something?
Yeah, you would put all your stats and stuff in here.
Really? You do that?
Yeah, it's just text files. I think there's
so due to like Unity got like a JSON.
Yep. Okay. Unity comes with newtonsoft.json that will parse all this. And
Or do they have JavaScript? I don't know.
They had they had their own for a while, but in 2020 21.8 maybe.
So anybody can create anything. Like you could make a purple sword that has 1 million damage points.
You can. Oh,
But no one's gonna buy it, or
crud.
someone would buy it.
It will buy
Depends
it,
on your
I'm
game.
Sure, but like the thing is, do you really want that in your game?
Everyone's
Oh no.
just for fun, you know, you can bring your board. And
I guess so.
Oh, this is garbage.
But I'm pretty sure you can like, if you go to like the certain section, you can like say ban this or something. Like, you can ban like regular music. Like you can do like a podcast tactic thing, like bans. Like
Yeah.
they have a rule system. Like if you own like
Free aspect.
a certain like setting in the game, they have like judges that will roll out like cards. Like you can't do that here.
I
Yeah.
have a 20 megaton spell.
Yeah. So like they would like literally come to you like yellow card, red card, you out, you gotta go to jail. Literally,
You can't play it. You can't play it anymore. You have to-
yeah, they would literally take that character to jail.
Okay.
And
Let's
you got
see.
Okay. I just want to know how that is modulated.
Yeah, you could do that type stuff because like when it comes to comparative play, like certain cards, weapons can be like taken out because it's not
Crud.
really,
Okay.
it's OP, yeah.
I don't know how well this is going to work, but we'll try it here. So this is in Unity. They have their Enjin SDK is up on GitHub. Right now, you have to compile it into its DLLs and then throw it into Unity here in the plugins. Yeah. And let's just see how this goes. So you can see here, I authenticated and the event system is running. And let's, oh, crud. Okay. Maybe, can I? Oh, no. No. Okay, we are going to have to not maximize. Oh, I hate UI so much. Not search. Yeah, this is Unity. And close out this. Okay. Let's.
This is a development platform, or is this like a
Yeah, this is a game engine. And oh, this aspect ratio is so screwed up. Nope. Oh, come on, give me something.
Do free aspect, free aspects.
Yeah.
Wait, chocolate just and like play maximum.
Yeah, I tried that.
Huh?
I tried. Let's
What,
float it.
14 by something.
And
You can do it custom.
yeah. Okay. Why? That might work. that might work. All right. Let's try this.
So you're probably assigning the shield to
Okay, this will work. Yes, so what I'm going to do is I am going to log in as myself. So another thing that's really important that I may not have said, this SDK should be run on your server. If this is running on your client, this is using your app secret and app key to authenticate. So this needs to be run on hardware that you control. So down below here, what I'm doing is I'm just grabbing my wallet and I'm grabbing all the metadata and I'm downloading the image and the actual JSON file as well onto these cards here. And here I have not gotten trading working yet, but I have a second character here that has 2 more items. In theory, I should be able to offer up a silver coin for this verbal blade, and then hit trade. I don't think trade is not going to work. Nope. No, my UI anchors are all messed up, and it's built for my PC at home. Anyways, I didn't put too much time into it. But here in in scripts here. So what I have, and these will be up on GitHub as well. Over here. Okay. So here, we're using the Enjin SDK and a couple of their namespaces here. And what I've made is a enum to host the different host platforms. So you will just choose between Main, JumpNet, Kovan. There's another one called Gorelli, which I don't think is actually live yet. We have our API credentials here, which is the platform URL, our API secret key, our ID, and then the project wallet, which some of the queries will need your project wallet for. And this is the Enjin manager. What it will also have is this pusher event service. So this is, I believe Pusher is mainly used for like mobile apps for their notifications, but you can subscribe to different events in order to like respond to them. I have a couple of actions here for when the project gets authenticated and when the event server is connected, so I know when to subscribe to things. On our awake is when we'll choose our different API credentials. And then just on start, what we do is we will create a new project client and then we authenticate the client. And what this does here is this makes a request, and the way that they have their set up is you will just add it with these dot operators. You'll add your different variables and parameters to the request this way. It takes some getting used to, but I kind of like like doing it this way. So once you get your request made, then you will actually send that through this GraphQL request here. You'll send the off project request and you'll get a response back. Then we just make sure that our response is successful. If it doesn't, we'll log some errors. This is just going to the console right now. And then we have actually the authentication is what happens here, where we take our response result token out of the result that we just got, and we'll pass that into the project. And then at that point, our project's authenticated and we are good to go. Here is our start service, which is basically the same thing, but we just do this with our event system. Create the request, put it through, and then once it's connected or not, then we're good. There's our errors. This is the code to actually connect to Enjin.
Just to connect the engine.
This is the connect. This is not doing anything
but
yet.
it's already pre-made. Like, you don't have to actually code this.
No, I actually had to code this.
You actually had to code this?
The actual SDK is the project client stuff. Like this GraphQL response, that is what they supplied to you.
So the SDK got all like, you got the pre-made.
It's kind of the low-level stuff for right now.
Okay.
They've got a Unity SDK coming, but I was impatient. So the main thing that I'm doing here with this so far is in the player manager. Actually, no, this is not. This is actually, kind of.
Player, this is not game. This is like the, is that just a terminology? What are you playing? It's a player manager, but
It's a player manager, yeah. Just for the players of my game. So this is where you have a listeners, and you can listen for different events. If I put in a username that wasn't already created, it would automatically create one, and then you would listen to these different events to tell me like what is happening. Right now, they're just printing out stuff. I guess I could show that real quick. Here. So I can just type in whatever here. I'll try to get a wallet. It'll throw an error and actually create a player. Probably should write that down. But you'll see here in the console that it says, please link an account. So this is the link info that you would actually give your players when they first create an account on your game. You would give them, there is a link code. There's also a QR code that this generates as well. It's a Google URL on Google Images, I think. But you can download it and display it on screen so they can snap it on their wallet and link up their wallet with the game.
you do have to be kind of technically oriented in order to play these games because you don't understand some.
To a certain extent, right now, yes. They are working on a thing that they call discrete wallets, which is what they're working on with the new system in Efinity. And that is wallets that are made on the back end that your players don't even have to know about. And then once they're ready for it, then they can link up the discrete wallet with their real wallet if they want. Like they don't actually have to. So yeah, right now it is a big barrier of entry to get people to download the Enjin wallet to buy crypto for it so they can pay the gas fees and all that crazy stuff.
Not like Candy Crush, where people just give the credit card number out or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, there's also QR code. Oh, that was showing up there. Didn't expand it. There it is. So yeah, we could actually look at this. Maybe.
Enjin is where payment takes place, trading takes place, and so therefore,
Yep.
in order to play, you have to be hooked into the engine. That's why you have players in your
Yep.
engine. That's why the player.
So yeah, bam. So this is something you could display in game. Have them snap the picture on the QR code in the wallet, and they're all linked up. It's easy. It's honestly easier than putting in a credit card. And yeah, and the getting the wallet stuff is basically the same. In the wallet manager, I've got the player's address, their assets. So here I have the get wallet function. This is what I'll call when I hit that button. Then it will go and grab all of the assets they have in their wallet, spit it out to this list, and then here I will, actually I put a button on there. And here is where it actually puts it on the actual screen. Here. So here is I'm starting a coroutine to load up the metadata. In the metadata has the image. I call another coroutine to call up the image, and that downloads the image as well. And then we instantiate it. I don't know why that's blue. Probably could be. Shut up, C#. All right. Yeah, that's like the real quick and dirty of it. The real quick.
Oh, can we get the rough and clean version?
No, because I'm not.
I want like the extended cut. I want just extended.
Because I'm not done with it yet.
Your game is a Unity game, whereas Sword and Sorcery kind of like combat game. Is that what the game is?
There's not a game right now, but
Yo, you need an extra developer on this?
yeah. What I want to do is I want to make it VR, and it's going to be. That's another thing here is that this whole system right here won't really work in VR because there's no way to check your phone to approve transactions and whatnot when you're in VR.
Oh,
So
is there a way to go like Enjin?
not yet. That's a problem. But they have a web wallet that's coming. So in theory, you can use like MetaMask or something like that for a Chrome extension. You can pipe that into VR, like from Chrome. That could work. Not this week or next week, whenever. What is it, the first?
Oh, that's a little bit.
Yeah, Ludum Dare. The next Ludum Dare game jam is next week,
Okay.
I think, or the first of the week of the first. 2 weeks from now, I think.
Okay.
That Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Are you gonna come in or that's just
We'll probably do that online. Yeah, that'll be something to keep an eye on the meetup page for that. I don't know if I'll do anything like Enjin related for that, but maybe some VR stuff. But yeah, that's really it. Does anybody have any other questions or Suggestions. I guess I should check the Twitch chat.
Well, by the way, so these items you created or played all these items, people aren't buying them yet because there's no game to play with them, right?
The ones I made are on the test net anyways. So the test network is just to mess around with.
Testing.
Yeah, it's just testing.
You haven't like minted all these things. People are like, oh yeah.
Not yet, no. No. Plus, it gets expensive when you're minting stuff like for reals. But yeah, I do plan on minting some stuff here. But there's also I need to get the art and stuff together, and I'm no artist.
Artists cost money too.
Yes, they do. I'm not going to pay people in exposure. So next month, what I'm planning on is expanding kind of this metaverse talk out and doing avatars. There's a project called Ready Player Me that is pretty cool. I got it kind of up and running on NVR. Ready Player Me. No, they haven't been, but they haven't gotten bought yet. But these Nike was doing some moves there. Yeah, these guys have partnered with VR Chat and Spatial, and they've also partnered with various like clothing lines to like Dead Mouse and RMK. They're in here. Does not say. But yeah, they have various integrations as well, which is cool. So I'll go into like actually getting this into VR. Yeah, I should be able to do that.
Oh, okay. So, why would they want to play me? I thought it was just they doing it.
They're trying to do stuff with like
Okay.
it wasn't very clear to me. I think it's another thing that's library for me.
Yeah, they were partnering with another like fashion, virtual fashion thing to get, yeah, specifically for shoes.
Oh gosh, we are actually buying stuff for our characters and stuff.
Yeah.
Man.
It's
Dang, I can't wait to have these Air Force
they
Ones.
acquired
I'll get the most expensive one.
RTFAT. That's
I might look lame out here.
Okay, so those dudes. What does it say?
They've done some like full body lenses for Snapchat, like clothing.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, that's basically it. We're at 8:30. That's not half bad.
You know, doing this for real estate, like remodeling real estate and producing assets, furniture, and stuff.
There's a whole like ArcViz like sub industry like with Unity. Yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of architectural
Thought
stuff.
about it, oh, not somewhere.
Yeah, yep. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of this, it's taking me a while to process, but it's more, I can see how like you're plugging in the back end into Unity and applying the plugins to the assets and connecting it back to.
Yeah. Yeah, if you just want to go with the creation side of it, you don't have to mess with Unity at all. It's all done in either on the website or through GraphQL. All right, for you guys listening at home, thanks, and we'll catch you next time.
Oh,
Oh.